very much. Thank you. Today, we're going to talk about innovation. Innovation is not brain surgery. And I should know, because I did my PhD here, right across the way here. Did my PhD in neuroscience a few years ago. And for the last 17 years, I've been teaching innovation in the School of Engineering. Now, most people have a really hard time with innovation, and they think that it's really hard. And I realized that one of the reasons is that most people don't even know what innovation is. If you ask them to define it, they will have a really difficult time. And in fact, they're particularly confused about the difference between innovation and creativity. So I'm going to start with just some simple definitions. In my world, creativity is ideas that are new to you, and innovation is ideas that are new to the world. And I had an insight just a few days ago that prompted me to put together this talk. And that insight was this. Learning to be innovative is really hard because being creative is really easy. Now, doesn't that sound crazy? But let me explain. Let me explain by using an analogy. Let's talk about learning languages. If you were brought up in France and you spoke French, that would be your native language. It would come to you really easily. If you were going to order a cup of coffee, or get on an airplane, or ask someone out on a date, okay, you're going to use French, it's going to be super easy. But if you land in Germany, you're going to be in trouble, because you're not going to be able to communicate. You need to learn a completely different language. In fact, this last week I found a quote that so perfectly summarized this. It was from the New Yorker, and it was a woman who wrote an article called Love in Translation. Did anyone read this article? It's totally brilliant. She's an American English-speaking person, and she's married to someone who speaks French. She's French. And she goes through in this article her process of learning to speak French as a native English speaker. And here's what she wrote. She wrote, English is a trust fund, an unearned inheritance. But I've worked for every bit of French I've banked. Isn't that brilliant? But think about it. If you switch the words French and English and French for creativity and innovation, it works out as well. Creativity is a trust fund and unearned inheritance because we all are creative from the time we're born. We have to be creative to solve the everyday problems in our life. You know, you open up the refrigerator, you have to figure out what to have for lunch. There's traffic on the freeway, you need to figure out how to get to your destination. But guess what? You have to work for every bit of innovation that you bank. Because innovation requires you to break free from the patterns that you already have. So, even though this is not brain surgery, there are several things you can do to learn to become more innovative. Okay, I'm going to tell you about 4 things that you can do to be more innovative. First, you can learn to recognize opportunities. Recognize opportunities. This is about paying attention. Paying attention is one of the most overlooked things in our lives. Most people go through life with blinders on, not paying attention to the world around them. But I promise you that paying attention is the master key that opens up the world of opportunities to innovation. Because when you're paying attention, you're going to see things that no one else sees. For example, let's say you're a waiter at a restaurant, and every single day your mind is elsewhere, you're thinking about what you're going to do when you get off of work. But if you're really paying attention, you're going to notice what days you get more tips. You're going to notice what food is ordered. You're going to notice what special requests people have. You're going to notice the demographics of people who show up at different times of the day. And you, by paying attention, are going to become an expert in customer service and hospitality, which can parlay you into a whole brand new career. And once you start paying attention and seeing the opportunities, at that point, you have to start reframing the situation. Now, what is reframing? Reframing is about changing your mindset, changing the way you look at the world from one like this, where there's one right answer, to one like this, where there are an infinite number of solutions. Oops. amazing? We went from a problem, 5 plus 5, that is one answer, to a problem with an infinite number of solutions. And that is the key to innovation, is looking at a problem from different angles to unlock that. And that takes practice. But guess what? We are built for it. Our brains are designed for this type of reframing. In fact, this is a picture of a homunculus. Has anyone ever seen a homunculus before? This is the way our brain thinks our body looks. If you looked at the sensory cortex, this is the way you mapped out what the body looks like to the brain. That's what it looks like. We have lots of sensors in our hands, in our face, in our eyes, in our mouth. And so this is what our body looks like. But it's completely flexible. Because if you were a piano player and using your hands all the time, guess what? Your fingers are going to be even bigger. Okay? If you lost a limb, that part of the body would shrink in the brain. But here's something even more amazing. And we know this now using virtual reality. Because with virtual reality, you can put on goggles. How many of you have used virtual reality? Okay, great. You put on goggles, you can have an extra tail. They can put an extra tail. You can have a tail. And within 10 to 15 minutes, you'll learn how to move this tail around to bat balls around the room. You'll learn they will give you an extra arm. In fact, you can become an octopus. Okay, and you can have lots of arms, and pretty soon your homunculus, your brain, will be modifiable enough. And it's a demonstration of how flexible we are. This is really important. But then you go to the next step, and the next piece is equally important, and that is challenging the assumptions. This is about unpacking the assumptions you have about how things work, and then thinking about what could be different. Let me show you a little example. So this is a picture in London, a poor guy walking across a bridge with an umbrella that's been, turned inside out because of the wind, carrying his suitcase. Looks like a pretty bad day for this guy. We could try to solve his problem, okay? So we could say, all right, let's fix his umbrella. And we could go back to the shop and design a brand new umbrella that doesn't turn inside out. But the really innovative person is going to say, why does he use an umbrella in the first place? Why do we use an umbrella?
Shield ourselves in the rain.
To keep ourselves out of the rain, okay, and to not get wet. What if we solve that problem? How do you not get wet in the rain? How many other ways are there to solve that problem? Well, of course, someone said a raincoat, right? But there are other ways as well. You can have an awning over the bridge. Maybe maybe you say, we're going to make a bridge that has air coming up, and sort of it's such a strong air, it keeps the rain off of you. Or you can have a whole body sock. Or you can have an upside-down umbrella where the water collects in it, and later you save it and use it to wash your dishes. Okay, there are lots of solutions. You could do the same thing with the suitcase. Why do we use a suitcase?
Carry things around.
To carry things. We can use it to have the things we need at our destination. Well, guess what? That's a totally different question. How do I have the things I need at my destination? Maybe I have a replica everywhere I go of everything I need so I don't have to carry it. Maybe I have a 3D printer that whips up what I need whenever I want it. Maybe everything goes digital and I don't need to carry a suitcase. You could do the same thing with the bridge. You could do the same thing with this man in his career. You can always ask why. And by asking why, you go up to a higher level and you figure out how you can solve that problem. So this happens in all aspects of our lives from the time we're kids. In fact, we're so used to solving problems that have one right answer and looking at it from one direction that we don't question that. So I showed you a triangle here. There are some scientists in Israel who decided to do an experiment with some kids, just like you guys. And they gave a picture of a triangle to the kids. And to half of the group of kids, they said, complete this drawing. And to the other half of this room, they said, complete this drawing the right way. And you know what happened? This. Okay? The kids who were asked to complete it the right way completed that they almost all draw a picture of a house. Whereas when they were just asked to complete the drawing, look at the amazing things they did. And this is the point. If you start challenging the assumptions about what a triangle is, it opens up the world of possibilities. So, you've now defined the problem. You've reframed it by looking at different angles. You've challenged assumptions. Now it's time to start ideating, to start coming up with ideas. And this process is very, very interesting. I require my students to come up with at least 100 solutions to the problems. I saw that. You go, no. Okay, that's what always happens, okay? Makes you a little nervous, right? Okay, a little nervous. 100 solutions. Some of them think it's a typo, some think I'm crazy, but why 100 solutions? 100 solutions because the first ones are going to be creative. They're going to be incremental and expected, and yes, they'll solve the problem, but they're not going to be innovative. Okay? And if you push yourself past the first wave, and the second wave, and the third wave, and the fourth wave, you're going to start coming up with really interesting ideas. So let me show you an example of how this works. So I might in my class give an assignment where the prompt might even be a single word. It might be pets. So what are problems you can solve with pets? What kind of problems are with pets? What kind of problem? Any problem with pets? Hey, what pets should we get? Okay. What's that?
Hair in the house.
They go poop. How do I clean up the animal droppings? Okay, what else? Another problem with pets.
Hair in the house.
Hair in the house. What do I do with hair?
Allergies.
Allergies to pets.
Walking dog.
Walking the dog. Dealing with them when you go on vacation. What else?
Leaving them alone.
Leaving them alone, okay? So great. So I'll give a prompt like pets. Every team has to frame it, right? Remember the framing and reframing to ask the right question that they want to answer? Then they challenge all of their assumptions. They unpack their assumptions and turn them upside down, and then they have to ideate. And I'm going to show you an example here in a short video of how this works. It's just a short video that a team made where they picked the prompt of pets, and you'll see how they went through the entire process. Pretty cool? Okay, so you got to see the process of unpacking all these crazy ideas to then come up with something and to share that with the world, that idea. So, this process of ideating and reframing and challenging assumptions really leads you to the ability to really innovate. And I want you to look at the word innovate because the center of the word is nova, which means new. And all of these tools allow you to start unpacking the old ideas to come up with something new. And this requires, as I said before, really flexible thinking. And flexible thinking, think about the Olympics going on. All of those athletes who have to work so hard to stretch their muscles and to strengthen them. And this takes incredible practice. In fact, this requires incredible mental gymnastics to practice this. And so I decided, since I've been teaching this for so long, that I was going to turn the tables on myself and turn myself into a student. And so I'm doing a project now, which I'm calling 60 Weeks to 60. Okay? It is 60 weeks. It's actually now down to 50 weeks until I turn 60 years old. And every single week, I'm giving myself another challenge. And these challenges require me to do all these things. To pay attention and recognize opportunities, to reframe problems, to challenge assumptions, and definitely to ideate. Do you want to see some of them? Some of the things I'm doing? Okay, so I'm 10 weeks into it, and it's been quite an experience so far. The first weeks I gave myself something easy to pay attention, and I basically started taking photos every single day, collecting photos of looking at things that I really hadn't looked at so closely before. So these were some flowers that were in my garden, and I took some pictures as well as lots of other pictures. Then, in a project where I required myself to reframe problems. I looked at things in my own environment, and in fact I have a lot of New Yorker magazines in my house, and I took the New Yorker magazines and I cut the covers up and created these collages. Okay, so that was another week. Another week, I decided that I needed to undo things. I needed to look at things I did in my life and to not do them. So I did a social media fast. That was super interesting. And another week I did a radio fast. No radio, no music, no nothing. Silence. And the week where I was inventing things, I taught myself how to make movies on my phone, and every single day I made another 1-minute movie. This process has been so fascinating. You know, I require my students to do this, but turning it on myself made me realize how we need to continue and continue to practice this. I can assure you that innovation is not brain surgery, but it requires engaging your entire brain in order to make it happen. And I would invite all of you to join me on this journey.